guys, it's Michelle from The Choice of Motherhood. I just wanted to do a video on my history with endometriosis and like how I found out and whatnot. I do have like a medical summary thing so that I update, so I just want to kind of go through that with you guys and just kind of let you know my medical history with endo. So my period started in '98. I was about 10 years old, and my first period, I thought I was dying. After speaking to friends, because I hung out with a lot of older people, they always said, "Oh yeah, your period." I'm like, "Does it hurt? Does it hurt?" "No, well, it does a little bit because you have cramps, but you're okay, you're okay. It just lasts a little bit and you're fine." Well, I was dying. Like, I couldn't move. I was crying. Basically, my mom told me to suck it up and welcome to life. So after about a year of missing so much school, being in pain every month, she finally took me to our family doctor because she realized this probably isn't normal, and he prescribed me birth control. So I was about 11 or 12, probably about 12, and I was on a less, so it didn't stop the cramping. It shortened how many days I was bleeding from like 7 to 5, but it really didn't help the cramping. I was still missing a ton of school, and I was still miserable. So later I returned to my family doctor. I was probably about 13 by now, and I was put on Ponstan. Ponstan, all it did was make me sleep. So I would take it, and I could sleep all morning and wake up in the afternoon, and the cramps would be minimal. I just couldn't function on it. So I went back to my family doctor, and he said, "Sorry about your luck, but this is all I can do for you." So I basically figured that all I could do was suffer. Somewhere in between there, probably closer to the 10-11 range. I was miserable. I was suicidal during my periods because they were so painful, just wanted to end. And I constantly had to tell myself, just get through this month, just get through this day, and it'll be fine. Because the rest of the month I wasn't having a lot of pain. It was just during my period. When I found out, probably I was about 13, I found out about my Nana having a hysterectomy. She had it like, well, I think I wasn't even born yet when she had hers. And I was like, oh, so there's this thing where I can get my uterus removed and not have periods? Awesome! So I think when I realized that, found out about that, it was like an epiphany where I don't need to end it. I can just fight through it, and then as soon as I have a kid, I want a hysterectomy. Which isn't, I've learned now, isn't the easiest thing because doctors aren't willing to do it on people when they're not very old. But I still feel that once I have a child, whether it's me naturally having a child or through surrogacy or adoption, I am getting it out. I will fight. I will find a doctor who will remove it because my life is still hell with it. So anyway, so in 2005, I moved to a different city for university, and in 2007, I went off the Elise, whatever you want to call it, the birth control pill. Really wasn't helping me, and I just didn't like the hormones. I didn't like having to go get blood work all the time, blood pressure checks and stuff. Getting a prescription is a pain in the butt when you're not in your local city. It was bad enough trying to go to my family doctor. So I went off of that. I was still taking the Ponstan and still missing work and school because this time I was working now. In 2007, probably like a couple months after I went off the birth control pill, I went for a refill of Ponstan, and I went to a walk-in clinic. I talked to that doctor about how drowsy the Ponstan was making me, how I was still missing work, still missing school, and he switched to naproxen. The naproxen was like a miracle compared to the Ponstan. I still missed work in school, but it cut down like a lot because it didn't make me drowsy. So the only times I missed was if I had severe cramping. But the naproxen was just awesome. Slowly it became worse and worse. So that was 2007 when I started it. 2010, oh no, 2011. Yeah. 2010 the cramping started getting worse. 2011 I went to a walk-in clinic. I had moved now, let's see, so 2008 I had gone to Korea. 2009 I lived with my parents, and then 2010 I had moved to another city for more school. And during that time I had found that I was getting more cramping. I was having like really bad ovulation cramping, so that I was missing school during ovulation. I went to a walk-in clinic in 2011, March of 2011, and she said that it was normal. I just need to lose weight. I needed to not eat anything but fruits and vegetables for the 2 weeks before my period and the week of my period. So that's 3 weeks. 3 weeks of eating fruits and vegetables, no meat, no dairy, no grains. Which I understand some of it now, knowing the endo diet, where she was coming from, but hearing that, I think I was like 21 or 22 at the time. 22. But hearing like basically you're in pain because you're fat and you eat garbage was not fun to hear. She told me that I've been taking naproxen wrong for since 2007, and I need to start taking naproxen the week before my period and just continue it all the way until my period was done, because it needed to be in my system. So I started to do that, and the cramping just became so worse. I then moved back to my parents, and I was working, and I was missing, at first I wasn't missing that much work, and then I started missing more and more, and then I ended up going to the ER. So I'm just trying to find where I am. So I was working a night shift when I started working there, and so it was great because most of my cramping happens in the morning, and then once the naproxen gets in my system, I'm okay. But when I had switched from a night shift to a day shift, that's when I started missing work. At some point, maybe, I want to say maybe 2008, 2007, 2008, somewhere around there, I was at my parents' house and in so much pain. I was throwing up. And my dad actually wanted to call an ambulance because I was in so much pain. He thought something had to be really wrong. I didn't let him do that. And I don't know, maybe I should have, but I didn't. I also have a condition that we didn't know at the time. We only found this out in 2010, that I have a condition that causes me to pass out when I'm in pain. Heat, hunger, and pain are my 3 triggers. And so often when I was in pain, I was passing out. So the first time I passed out, I was at school, and it's like grade 7, so like 2000. And 99 to 2000, somewhere around there. But I passed out, yeah, in the hallway. But, and it wasn't the last time either. I passed out a couple times at high school, one being in a hallway, one being in a classroom. Yeah. But anyway, so February 2012, I went to the hospital. I was in so much pain. I couldn't function. I couldn't breathe. I don't know if I was having a panic attack or what, but I just was done. I was done. There was no way this was normal, and I just couldn't function. So my mom took me to the ER, and the doctor said that I had been taking the naproxen wrong. That doctor had told me to take, like, her way of taking it was totally wrong, that basically I built up an intolerance to it or an immunity to it. And then when I had seen this other doctor and she told me to take it even sooner, like take more of it sooner, it had built up that intolerance even faster. I got an injection of Toradol, which was wonderful because it didn't make me drowsy, but it also stopped the pain. Made me slightly drowsy, but not crazy drowsy. I should also note that also I am allergic to painkillers. So when they give me stuff, they have to be careful on what they give me. Like Demerol, Oxycodone, those kind of painkillers, I'm allergic to. So she gave me an injection of Toradol. She prescribed Toradol and a higher strength of naproxen. And I was like crying in there because I'm like, is that all you can do? Is that all you can do? And she's like, go to your doctor. And like my family doctor is a gynecologist, but doesn't really do a whole lot of gynecology anymore. He's for some patients, but not others. But anyway, so she said, go to your doctor, get referred to a proper gynecologist, and get tested for fibroids. Because that is probably what your issue is. So I called my family doctor and said, please refer me to a gynecologist because I'm still having severe cramping, and this is what the ER doctor said. So he called me back and said, you need to come in for an appointment, and then we'll discuss referring to a gynecologist. So I went in for the appointment, and he was basically, I'm not referring you to a gynecologist until you have a vaginal ultrasound. I was like, great. He's like, until we know you have fibroids, I am not referring you to a gynecologist. Yeah, wasn't impressed. I live in Canada, so this is free healthcare, so I shouldn't be complaining. But, so in March, I had the vaginal ultrasound, transvaginal ultrasound, and another ultrasound as well. And while there, I had said something, because I went for fibroids, right? And I had said something to the technician, because since high school, I was doing my own research, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I have endometriosis. I'm like, my symptoms all fit, pretty sure this is what it is. So when I was doing the, when she was doing the ultrasound, she was so quiet and like in that doom and gloom kind of way. And I said to her, will this show endometriosis? And she goes, yes, 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 it will. And after that, she was like, it was like a big sigh of relief. Mind you, I knew that endometriosis is only seen by laparoscopic, like surgery. But it turns out that through transvaginal ultrasounds, and maybe normal ultrasounds too, you can see endometriomas, which are cysts in the ovaries. And those cysts, also known as chocolate cysts, are only present if you have endometriosis, which is stage 3 or 4, which is moderate or severe. So, so my family doctor called me back like a couple days later, and he's like, yep, you have endometriosis, you have endometriomas in both ovaries, I will refer you to a doctor now, to a gynecologist. He's actually one of the top gynecologists, OBGYNs in the area, and also specializes endo. So I went to that doctor, and it's such a pain where I live now. But anyway, I'll talk about that in a minute. So he said, okay, endometriosis. I said, surgery? He goes, nope. I'm like, eh. So he put me on Cyclone, which is another birth control, and I was taking it continuously. So normally if you're on birth control, you take it for your 28 days or whatever, 21 days, and then you're off it for a week so you get your period. But because my periods were the problem, I was taking it continuously. However, it was hell. I had such bad cramping. I was bleeding constantly. Like non-stop. Like not like heavy bleeding, but enough to make me miserable. I had headaches. I was moody. Like, I shouldn't say moody. I was depressed. Like, I was crying non-stop all the time. I couldn't work because all I would do was go to work and feel like I should be crying. I couldn't function on it. So I ended up going back to my doctor and to the specialist. I had put in a request because I was missing so much work. My work was like, hey, you're missing too much work. You need to have a doctor's note or you're fired. So my doctor had to fill out this big form. I paid a shitload of money for him to do it. But while there, he also switched me to NuvaRing. So basically my work allowed me 2 days a month to be off for medical reasons. Like right after I got that all sorted out, I got the job here, which here I get a day and a half off a month, and that's not even a medical, that's just typical. Like that's just what I'm allowed, and really they don't care if I take more than that. But anyway, so I was on NuvaRing, and NuvaRing was better. Less cramping, horrible headaches though, and again I was bleeding like all the time. Imagine spotting like non-stop the entire month. I would go like 12 weeks of spotting, excuse me, and then have 1 week of no spotting, and then be back again to 12 more weeks. So that was my life for a year. Which when you go 12 weeks, that's what, 3 months? So 3 months of spotting, a week not spotting, 3 months of spotting. And then in April is when I decided, screw this, I am going to try to conceive, and I decided I was going off of it to see what was happening with my cycles. The endo doctor specialist, gynecologist guy said, yep, that's fine. We made an appointment for July for me to come in and see him regarding everything. So April I went off of that and started charting and started taking fertility supplements and just seeing what was happening. Still didn't know if I could get pregnant or not, because all I had known was that I had severe endometriosis, or at least moderate endometriosis. And I know at that stage it's not easy, especially because I have endometriomas in my ovaries. They can cause egg quality issues. So anyway, in July, I saw him and did some tests, and he said no scarring in my tubes or my ovaries or my uterus. So if I want to have a kid, now is the perfect time to try, because who knows how much longer I will be able to have kids. So that's kind of where I stand right now. The chemical pregnancy, as horrible as it is, it still gives me hope that I can get pregnant. And especially when it's not really invasive the way I'm getting pregnant. It's not like I'm paying for IUIs. It's not like I'm paying for IVF. I'll talk about it more in my goals video, but I really just feel like I can get pregnant. It's a matter of time. Just have to be patient and kind of just go with it and see where it takes me. But so anyway, so that's my endometriosis history. Just kind of wanted to let you know how much of hell endometriosis is. Mind you, it's not bad for everybody, but for the majority, I feel like it is. And the stages don't correlate with pain levels or symptoms. Someone could be stage 4, severe, and have no symptoms, and someone can be stage 1 and be in horrible, horrible pain. There really is no set, okay, stage 1 you have like mild pain, but stage 4 you have severe. It doesn't work that way. And someone with stage 4 endo can get pregnant naturally without even knowing they have it, whereas someone with stage 1 could have difficulty getting pregnant. It really is just this horrible disease that varies so much. I mentioned the hysterectomy. My thoughts about that is, from the research I have done, most women, especially ones with later stages like 3 or 4, which I am in, have surgery after surgery after surgery to remove the endometriosis. And what happens is, you're not pregnant or not nursing or not on birth control, it grows. So if I got pregnant and then was nursing and then got pregnant right away, which it's a lot easier once you have one child to get pregnant with the other next one if you are doing them close together, and kept doing that, it would be in remission. However, I only plan on having one child. I'll do a video on that later. But I only plan on having one child, and I don't want to have surgery after surgery. I'm not even sure I want to have one endo surgery. So what ends up happening anyway, so say you've been having endo issues since you were a teenager, you are now hitting menopause, you're like, thank God, I'm just going to get a hysterectomy now, and it will be all over. Well, by that time, the endo has now spread to your intestinal tract and everywhere else, and now you have symptoms because of that. I don't want to get to that point. I want to just have a child in whatever way possible, get it all taken out, and not have to have endo issues again. Not saying it can't grow back in somewhere else, but it's less likely if everything's just taken out. Yes, I will be on hormone treatment for the rest of my life. No, I will not be able to have any more kids. Yes, maybe that might affect future relationships, but I just feel like that is the best choice for me, so that I can live a non-pain-filled life, so that I can function like a normal human being, not be so exhausted all the time, not be in so much pain all the time, and just like have a better quality of life for me and for my child. So there you go, there's the endo story, and thanks for watching, bye.